Welcome to the City. I'm Anthony Wilson, the Communications Director for the City of San Angelo. And in our continuing series of interviews about San Angelo's signature event, of course, I'm talking about the San Angelo Stock Show and Rodeo. One of the more popular features out there at the fairgrounds during that 2+ week run is, of course, the Creative Arts Competition. So here to talk about that is the Creative Arts Superintendent, Lori Poss. Lori, thank you for being with us.
Thank you.
So for those who may not be in the know, talk about the Creative Arts portion of the Stock Show and Rodeo. What is it?
Right. The Creative Arts, it's an amateur show for people that want to be involved with the Stock Show and Rodeo that may not be on the livestock side of it. They can come out and still be participants and be involved.
You know, I sort of liken it to this is sort of like the old county fair used to be, where people bring the things that they have created or made to be judged and hopefully win a blue ribbon.
That's right. Adults, kids, hobbies, crafts, foods, bring them.
So how many different categories do you have?
There's 11 different divisions. All of those are divided out into adult and youth. The only one that doesn't have adult is the toys. We kind of reserve that for the kids, but other than that, we take them all the way from first grade to the senior citizens.
So give us sort of an overview of the types of categories that you have and the sort of entries that you have in those categories.
Sure. Out of those 11 divisions, of course, like I said, adult and youth, we have art, photography, ceramics, needlework, foods, clothing, quilting.
And these are all things that you want people to have created over the past year.
Yes, we like to have the most current entries, something that they've been working on for the last year, because as you know, ladies that do quilting, it takes them a long time to get that stuff finished as a finished product. And sometimes these children that are making these like Legos that they enter in toys, these things are massive, they're complex, and it takes them a while to do that.
So you have 11 categories, 10 of them have adult and junior divisions. How many entries do you have each year?
We usually average around a little over 1,000. It kind of fluctuates each year depending on what the hot items are. You know, sometimes clothing tends to go up and down depending on what's going on in the schools. But usually your hot ones that are big are photography, art, foods.
Is there a cost to enter?
There is. Each entry is $1, so you can have one entry or you could have 15. There are rules for each division as to how many classes you can enter or how many items per classes, just because we have limited space for displaying.
So it sounds like at $1 per entry, your goal is just to have as many people enter as much as they'd like.
We want the whole community to participate. We want people to come out. We want them to feel involved. We want the youth in Tom Green County, surrounding counties. We actually reach out to other teachers at other counties and schools. We want people to come out and participate.
And are there particular categories that typically draw the most entries?
Usually, and the kids, it's the toys or the hobbies, things that they can make at home. For the adults, it tends to be foods or photography.
And so what sort of foods do we see out there?
Oh yeah, so foods, people always say, how do you display a cake for 2 weeks? You know, those things they're cooked, they're prepped, and then they're displayed, but all that judging and stuff takes place ahead of time. But we just prep all that and bring it in on the day that the entries are supposed to be turned in, which is the 26th of January.
So 26th of January is when all the food items arrive. But the entry form is actually due much earlier than that.
Yes, so the deadline for the entry forms is actually tomorrow, which is the 12th. I will be at the Stock Show office. People can bring those to us there from 10 to 2 tomorrow. If they haven't already mailed them. But if somebody's fallen behind and you just haven't quite got it in the mail, you can either bring it to me tomorrow or you can get in touch with me or one of the division directors and get it to us as late as next week.
And so why are folks typically moved to create and enter these things into the competition?
Generally, people are just crafty in nature, and they want to have a way to display these things that they're amateurs. They have something that they do really well, and they want people to see it. Some of the best entries we've had are woodworking in the adults division. People that do this in their shop or in their garage, and it's amazing at some of the items that they bring in, from wood carved pins to bowls out of a single piece of mesquite. It's really amazing.
So if people do really well with their creation, is there something that they win?
Yes. Each division and each class has placings, first through fourth, and then there's honorable mention. But also we have special awards or best of shows that each division has rules that they apply to those.
Are there favorite things that the public seems to enjoy seeing the most?
Typically, when the crowds come through, I mean, you kind of see them dispersed and look at everything, but there really seems to be activity around the kids and the toys and the hobbies division, and then lots of people looking at photography. Each year, these girls that are over the photography class come up with a special category, and they try to focus a lot of pictures towards that. And this year, I think they chose flirty fowl. So any pictures that you have of birds, you know, and they'll kind of class those together. So it's always nice to see what kind of unique pictures that people come up with.
And do you have a personal favorite category of all 11 categories?
Oh, I don't know that I really have a favorite. I like to walk around and look at all the ideas and things that people have entered in each category, but I would probably say the art. I really like that.
So are all of the items on display throughout the entire run of the Stock Show and Rodeo?
Yes, so once we take entries on the 26th and those are prepped and cased on the 27th after they've been judged, the Stock Show actually starts on Friday the 1st, and all of our displays will be available for the public to view all the way until the 16th of February.
And where can spectators view those items?
Yes, so we have actually moved. Last year was our first year to be in the Spur Arena foyer. So just alongside the Midway, if you come down to the Spur Arena, we are located, our cases and all of our displays are in the lobby of there.
And so I assume then the admission to get in is simply the admission that you pay in order
Correct.
to get onto the fairgrounds. I believe it's like $8 per person.
That has fluctuated over time, but I believe that's what it is.
And how are the contests judged? You mentioned the judging.
Yeah, so each division, they secure their own judges. We don't display who those are, but all the judging is done per division. These division directors acquire the best judges that they can get. They're volunteers as well. And then all of the judging is done blindly. So once the item is displayed, we do not show the judge who the cards are for the exhibitors until after the judging is complete.
And so, for instance, photography, I'm sure you have someone who's an expert photographer who judges that.
Right. Usually it's multiple judges, anywhere from 2 to 3. That way we have a combination of scores. They have their unique scorecards that are based on what the item is that they're judging, and then we tally up totals.
Now, I'm curious, for your food items, do you have people who are specialized bakers or just people who love pie, or how do you?
Right. I mean, I don't get to meet all of the judges. I say hi and introduce, but as far as their qualifications, I leave that up to the division directors to make sure that, you know, they're choosing the best qualified person that they can find.
Now, before we turn the cameras on, we were chatting. You said you've been involved with the Stock Show and Rodeo about 15 years
Yes.
now as a volunteer with the Creative Arts. So I assume, like the rest of the Stock Show and Rodeo, the Creative Arts group relies upon a small army of volunteers in order to make the show happen.
Yes, we have just under 100 volunteers. They each put in about 20 hours worth of 20 to 25 hours worth of volunteer time during the setup and then during the show, making sure that all of our cases stay nice and clean, and we dust and clean the glasses every time that we work a shift. And then of course we have to work on the last day of the show to make sure that all of these items get back to the exhibitors in one piece.
Pardon me. So if someone is interested in volunteering, is there still time for them to sign up to do so?
They could. Pretty much our divisions are full right now. We've got people trained. We do take on new volunteers each year. The best way to do that is either contact us through the Stock Show website. There's a volunteer form that you could fill out and get in touch with us. Or if you know a committee member or there's a committee that interests you, try to find somebody on that group and contact them, and then we usually bring on new people each year because people's lifestyles change and people come and go.
So I assume that if people want more information about the Creative Arts Competition, they can probably get that pretty easily at sanangelorodeo.com.
Correct. If you go to the events and then to Creative Arts, there's actually a PDF of our entire book on there, and you can read about all the divisions and actually see the division directors. Our contact information is there. So there's we're easy to get a hold of.
So just quickly remind us sort of the who, what, when, and where of the Creative Arts competition this year.
So the big date is tomorrow, which is the entry deadline. You have until basically 2 weeks if you haven't made your project. The entry submission is January 26th. All of that is at the Spur Arena. And then the displayed items are from February 1st all the way to February 16th.
And make one final plug for why people should, while they're out at the stock show, enjoying the Midway, enjoying the stock show, maybe having taken in a rodeo performance, why they should stop by the Spur to check out the Creative
Whether
Arts.
you're going early or staying late, the building is open pretty much all day from 8 to 8 p.m. It's a nice way to, if it's chilly outside, grab you something to eat, come in. It's nice and warm in there. You can spend a little time walking around, whether it be before a performance or after. Plus, you never know, you're going to know somebody that has entered and you can see what great things they've done.
We've been talking with Lori Posh. She is the superintendent of the Creative Arts Show at this year's San Angelo Stock Show and Rodeo. And again, if you'd like more information about anything that's happening in regards to the Stock Show and Rodeo, the best place to get that is sanangelorodeo.com. And we hope you'll join us for the next episode of The City.